You can't find parking.
And we're booked up. We're booked up in our downtown properties, which is our favorite area.
Sorry, people. They're booked.
But that's one of our favorite places when we're looking to grow that part of our business. We're essentially historic St. Augustine market and a beach market. Those are the two big pieces of our business.
So for other property owners that may have properties there in those areas, and I know you do like beach area as well.
Yes.
Is that accurate? And so they can get in contact with you to kind of be more hands off to the property, and you guys can take for like listing and pricing and all that. Tell me about how they would get in contact with you.
Be Nice Individuals Podcast.
Hey folks, this is Thaddeus on the Be Nice Individuals Podcast, which is hosted here at the Flagler Voice Podcast Studio. I have a very special guest in the studio. He is Dave from iTrip, St. Augustine. Dave, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So, for the people that don't know, first, what is iTrip?
Well, iTrip is a short-term rental property management company. We are based in St. Augustine, Florida, and we have the territory. We're part of a larger franchise corporation. We're a franchisee, and we have the St. Augustine territory. And we do property management for short-term rental properties. Very focused business. We deal with only the vacation rental market. And only in St. Augustine. We go to South Ponte Vedra to Crescent Beach. That's our territory.
So you were handling all those issues that we see about on like YouTube, some of the horror stories. But at the same time, this is how I think of it. And I was thinking about this in my car yesterday when I was thinking and preparing for this podcast. I was like, there's a lot of people out there that don't want to rent out their property because they don't want to deal with it. And that's exactly what it is. I imagine that you're coming.
Yeah, it can be a really challenging business, but by and large, most of our guests are very happy to be in St. Augustine, and that they're enjoying the wonderful area, the beaches, the historic city. But we do have an element of folks that are coming in unhappy, and we do address a lot of guest issues, and the demand by the guest is becoming higher and higher. They're demanding more. So it does put more challenges on our guest services.
Yeah. But it's cool, though, that as a company, you guys get to kind of insulate the owners from having to deal with that day to day. Oh, the person couldn't get in the door or whatever. You guys take care of that.
Yeah, so we have 24/7 guest services that take all that activity away from the owner. Our owners generally just receive a check from iTrip, and they can be involved as much as they want in the business, but generally they are just getting the proceeds from us.
I'm shaking my head over here. No. So owners out there, if you're trying to be involved, like property management is literally what iTrip does. So I know there's some owners out there that maybe they are having a little bit of difficulty relinquishing that control that they've had for so many years or whatever with managing their own property. But you guys can take care of all that.
Yeah, we love doing it too. We love helping owners pull away from the administrative burden, the guest services burden, all the different aspects. It can be very complicated, a lot of moving parts, and can wear you down. In fact, I've had to hire people to spread out some of this work so we don't burn our own people out.
Yeah, well, that's a good problem to have, though. That means if you're hiring people, that means business is good, more people utilizing your services, and perfect. People are taking vacations. What makes iTrip different, though? I've talked to you privately before about Airbnbs and is it Vrbo? Is that
Vrbo is a major partner. So we use all those venues for short-term rental. There are different websites. We list our properties on all those sites using the iTrip technology. We integrate with all the big players: Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com. But really, the biggest distinguishing factor about iTrip is what we do for our guests and what we do for our owners. And we have some just great people over the last 7 years. We've developed a team of people that are very high character, high quality, and they just bring great service to our guests. Our reviews across all venues is right at the 4.9 level. I mean, that's every venue, and we have multitudes of short-term rental sites that we list the properties on. So we have high reviews, and we have just a great relationship with our owners, and we serve them, and that's our ultimate customer is our owner, and serving them and communicating to them and maintaining their properties.
One of the things I remember, though, as it relates to like Airbnb versus like iTrip situation, is Airbnb is just where people are listing the properties versus iTrip is like the property management ownership type thing. Is that accurate? Am I saying it the right way?
Exactly. Airbnb is basically a website. They don't have any people on the ground. We do the ground work. We serve the customer. We're the first line of defense for the customer. And we handle all the issues with the property and maintenance and so forth. So we're a property management company.
Right.
And one that focuses only in that short-term rental space, the vacation rental space.
Yeah. And one thing, audience out there, Dave did not tell me to mention this. David Ingoldsby, he hasn't told me to mention this, but I remember because I've talked to him multiple times. If you go straight to his website, which is
iTrip.net is our corporate website, but staug.itrip.co is the direct booking site.
Right. So here's one of the things sometimes that people forget when they're booking through a third party, such as Airbnb. So if you go directly to the St. Augustine website to book in St. Augustine, it's a cheaper price than Airbnb because there's that increased fee, that sort of thing. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. It's actually 15% you save on your booking when you book direct with iTrip. That you take out the middleman, right? The middleman is Airbnb or it's Vrbo or Booking.com. They take their cut. So you cut through the middleman and get the lowest price. So that's an immediate 15% discount, and that can be sizable for a week booking.
Absolutely. And one of the things too that I love is that you're local. So you're operating in St. Augustine. You live in St. Augustine area, and it's not some just big company out there that doesn't have that close connection. That's one of the things we talked about.
Yeah, we love this area. We've lived here most of our lives. My kids have 5 kids. They grew up in the area. We rented properties in St. Augustine with those kids. Nice. And now a couple of them are actually serving properties as property managers in St. Augustine. So we love the area, and we're very committed to this community, and we can sell it because we love it, right?
yeah, it would be pretty hard to sell it. If you're like, I don't really like it, but you guys should rent one of our establishments.
I got great property in Siberia.
Yeah. I love St. Augustine too. I love the way it looks, just the old city look to it. Downtown can be a little bit hard though with parking.
Yeah, if you stay at one of our properties, we have free parking, so that's a good selling point. Yes, that's a big plus. So
you guys are close to the downtown area?
We have properties right on St. George Street. We have
really?
We have a luxury apartment, 2-bedroom apartment on St. George Street.
Dude.
110 St. George Street. We have properties that are coming online soon right on Spanish Street.
Dude.
Right? 2 units there. We have 2 units on Hippolyta right there in the middle of the walking district.
This is fantastic. In that little, like, what would you call that? It's brick road, kind of. If I'm remembering correctly, the ground is, I don't know, cobblestone or something.
Yeah, it's a walking district of historic St. Augustine there. Yeah. Town center there is the center.
It kind of reminds me of New Orleans down there. Did you get that vibe a little bit?
Yeah, it's historically similar in some ways, except it's obviously Spanish.
Yeah.
Not as French as...
It's not as French. Yeah, but that is a great service and great idea that you guys have those properties there, because parking is always a nightmare. And we're coming up on actually nights of lights and all that. You can't find parking.
And we're booked up. We're booked up in our downtown properties, which is our favorite area.
Sorry, people. They're booked.
But that's one of our favorite places when we're looking to grow that part of our business. We're essentially historic St. Augustine market and a beach market. Those are the two big pieces of our business.
So for other property owners that may have properties there in those areas, and I know you do like beach area as well.
Yes.
Is that accurate? So they can get in contact with you to kind of be more hands off to the property, and you guys can take for like listing and pricing and all that. Tell me about how they would get in contact with you for that.
Well, they can call me direct, 904-859-8311. They can go to iTrip.net. That's our large corporate website, or they can go directly to iTrip.co, and that would be our local website, and get all kinds of information about how we can help them with their properties. And we generally can dramatically increase the rental activity on a property we take over because of the way we can broadly expose the property on multiple sites.
Yeah.
And we do, my son is a CPA, and he does all my rate management, and he is very gifted in that area.
He loves the numbers.
He's a bean counter. You'll forgive me for saying that, Patrick, but you got a bean counter mentality, and he drives the rates, and rates are more and more. We have over 5,000 short-term rentals in the St. Augustine area.
Yeah.
And it becomes very competitive. So your pricing must be right, and you must modify it on a weekly, almost daily basis to keep. And you got to be able to account for these local events. Are you pricing this Nights of Light opening this weekend appropriately?
Right.
Or do you know about the Sing Out Loud production in St. Augustine? Are you pricing for that?
Yeah.
You have to have the technology. You have to have the knowledge of the local activities and build that all into the price. And that's quite a job. And we do that well.
Does Patrick do all that? So he's like on all the social activities, and
he knows. We have the calendar. We know what's going on in St. Augustine Seafood Festival.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we have properties right next to Francis Field. When you have concerts there and events there, and we know when those events are, and we're pricing to maximize the value for that owner. So yeah, he's got technology. iTrip gives us the latest state-of-the-art
that's great.
Rate management technology. That, in addition to the local knowledge, makes our pricing. No one does it better.
That's awesome. So again, would you let people out there know how they can get in contact with you to take a look at the different properties you're offering in the area? Also remind them about booking direct, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, again, you can call us, but best way is just go on the website. That's www.staintaug.itrip.co is our website. You go there, you can click on properties and see all the properties we list. And there's other contact. You can inquire on all those properties as well. So we love to talk to anybody. We love to help anyone who's struggling in this rental market. And the rental market is becoming more challenging, just more competitive. There's a lot of inventory out there. So again, the professional property manager such as us can give you that advantage you're looking for with your property.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that the fact is that iTrip is a larger company, but they have that technology to help not only you as a property manager, but help those people who have decided to utilize your services to, maximize their profit.
Certainly.
And there's no better way to do it, especially if we're talking, there's so many people that are wanting to get into investing, but they don't really want to be as hands-on and learn all of what is necessary.
Right.
That's exactly where you guys come in.
And we love to talk to investors and evaluate the rental potential of a property they're looking at investing in.
Yeah.
And we do that free.
Oh, okay.
We work with realtors to give them a revenue estimate on the property, help them to sell the property to investors. Investors that are shopping various properties, we can do comparisons and tell you this property is the most revenue positive for your investment. And we do that free of charge.
Now, are you also looking for a long-term person, like a long-term property management company that may want to offload some of their short-term?
Yeah, we're dedicated and licensed for short-term rentals. That means rentals up to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't do long-term leases. So we really would love to have a long-term property manager that partners with us, because oftentimes we're being honest with our potential clients. We're telling them your property doesn't fit into the short-term rental space. You're better off going long-term. And we'd love to have a partner we can make those referrals to. And that would be very helpful to us, because we don't want to get in that business. We're very laser being focused on short-term rentals.
Yeah. And that's a whole different, would you say it's a different skill set almost, or?
Yeah, you're dealing with longer-term tenants, so there's a lot of specialized care that in the selecting of tenants that you have to go through, and then there's some legal ramifications of that as well.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I want to mention, though, for the audience, too, is that we know each other through a networking group called BNI. For the people out there, would you just give a brief overview of what BNI is?
Well, I can give a brief testimony of what it did for my business.
Sure, that'd be great.
I bought this franchise territory, the St. Augustine territory, 7 years ago, and it was just a territory. It's a map. Right? They handed me this map, said, "Good luck to you." And I was a property manager of no properties.
Yeah,
and that's a tough place to start.
Uh-huh.
And the guy that helped me install my franchise, he pointed me to BNI and said, and we went to this Moneymaker BNI meeting.
Oh, you started at Moneymaker.
Yeah, we went there. I went to a couple, but I walked into the Moneymaker meeting 7 years ago, and this guy that was helping me from the corporate, he said, "Join this one immediately." And I said, "Yes, sir." And I joined, and 115 properties later,
wow,
we built a business.
Yeah.
And it's not only the properties that were referred to me by this group, it was the workforce and supporting workforce that we have. Pest control people, we have yard people, we have air condition professionals, we have painters, we have everything that a property needs for maintenance is there. And so that just became a team. It's a marketing team, and it's a workforce, which has been incredibly powerful. And this business wouldn't be where it's at without the BNI connections. So I value that highly.
Now, did you know anything about BNI before you walked into the various chapters and stuff?
No, it's pretty crazy walking in there, because you start thinking, man, what kind of organization is this? People raising their left hand. I was a little worried about that, but
you're like, oh, where's the hoods? Where they're coming like to go into some type of secret society?
Yeah, a little disturbed there, but I realized it was just they had some tradition, formality to it.
Yeah,
but I love the disciplined networking that comes out of that. You really have to be bought in. You get measured. If you don't perform, you're out.
Yeah.
And so it's so everybody there is driven to help themselves, but help others grow their business. So that's a very positive dynamic going on.
Yeah, and one of the things that I value the most about BNI, which most other organizations that I'm familiar with, they don't have this as part of their framework. It's really that accountability. You know exactly where you stand, you know what you've done, and you know what you've received. And without that, people are just loosey-goosey with it. There's a lot of
there's no freeloaders that can stay with the BNI long term, for sure.
Yeah. And it's just knowing where you stand. Other networking groups that I've visited and stuff, it's, how to say it? It is simply, I've given you this referral, but when stuff isn't tracked, you don't really know exactly what the value is. And that's what BNI does for me, and I assume that's what it does for you.
Certainly. It's a tremendous blessing to our business, and wouldn't be here without it.
Yeah. And also, folks out there, David is looking for a long-term property manager for our group, because just like we were talking about during the interview and the conversation, I hate to call it an interview because it's a conversation. But during our conversation, he was talking about how his different specialized skills and his specific set that he likes to stick with is the short-term property management. And there are certain properties that are better suited for long-term property management. And so it could be a good working relationship for a long-term property management to come check out our BNI to see whether or not it's a good fit for you, and possibly partner with David and help each other, because collaboration is the best way to success. But again, it's been great having David here in studio. Been great talking about iTrip. I had really not a lot of information on iTrip before I met you in the BNI and we talked. But just knowing that iTrip is a property management company, not just a booking company like an Airbnb, and you can book direct for a cheaper price. That's important information for anybody out there that travels or anything like that. Make sure you guys check out his website as well to see what property offerings he has. Maybe you guys are already living in St. Augustine, but maybe you want to do a little staycation. Stay downtown. That's an awesome offering, because, like I said, parking can be rough downtown in St. Augustine. It's a lovely area, but parking can be rough. Stay right there in one of the downtown properties. Have a lovely time. So anyway, this has been Thaddeus and David on the Be Nice Individuals podcast, which is hosted here at the Flagler Voice Podcast Studio. And I tell you guys this all the time, but remember, this is your space. Come in here, shout out your business, shout out your ideas. Maybe you're a political candidate that wants to reach out directly to your audience, your constituents. We have call-in features here. We can make that happen. If you want to be truly transparent, that is. We can do a live call-in session. It can be fun. But anyway, again, this has been Thaddeus and Dave on the Be Nice Individuals podcast, and we'll see you next time.